Hey everybody, it's been a minute, I know. This video is a little different than my typical ones, but I figured it was something entertaining, and if you couldn't tell by the title. Okay, so I'm making this video for anybody out there that is either in nursing school, wanting to go, or has fallen in a similar predicament that I have once fallen into, which is failing nursing school. Now, I want to tell you as as like a disclaimer, there is a brighter side to this. So don't just think I'm just making it because I completely just failed. No, I wanted to do this career. I wanted a degree. I wanted to pursue something in medicine, and I didn't give up despite being told to give up multiple times. And I am technically finished. I just have to take my NCLEX now. So we'll get to that'll be a whole nother story though. But yes, I am finished with nursing school now, so you might see more. And if you are interested in my journey as a new grad nurse, what unit I'm working on, I'm not going to say the hospital, but getting the idea of what I'm doing and seeing my journey, my frustrations, my happy days, the whole goods of it, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll definitely do something separate for that. My questions that I had, trying to be organized, because I did this video before and it was all out of whack, and it ended up being way too long for what I was trying to do, and I barely got my point across. So I'm just going to discuss a little bit what I've gone through, and it's going to be a part 1 and part 2. So part 1 will be focusing more so on failing nursing school. Part 2 is going to be the mindset that I took at my new nursing school, because I completely failed out the program at my first one. Like, I couldn't come back for a year. Like, that's how bad it was. So without further ado, just hear me out. That's it. Okay, so first question I wrote down is, how do you get into nursing school and when? So I got into my first nursing program back in 2017. It was actually, I got the acceptance letter on my birthday in 2017, and I got the acceptance letter that spring. I didn't start until that fall, and that's typically how it goes. You either come in on the spring or you come in on the fall. So depending on when you take your TEAS test and you pass it and you get your transcripts, all that good stuff is when you'll actually begin the nursing program. I did it at a community college. You can do it at a university. You do it at a university. You do 2 years of prereqs and then 2 years of nursing. If you do it at community, it's 1 year prereqs and 1 year of nursing, with some of your prereqs intertwined into your nursing schedule. Expectations versus reality. Okay, so when it comes to the nursing program and college itself, because you are taking your prereqs before you even get into the nursing program, so when it comes to classes for college versus classes specifically for nursing school, it's different. And my expectations were that I'm smart, I can pretty much study the night before like I do everything else and pass a test or whatever. Did that my whole life almost, and was a very great student. I mean, honors student in high school, high GPA. Did it throughout the first year of my college experience. Fine there. So it was like, it's no problem. I got this. Okay, now, reality told me otherwise, because it takes a lot that I didn't understand how much it will actually take to be a nursing student. You have to be professional, you have to be on time, you have to turn in all your assignments. It helps even if you're failing the test to just turn in your dang assignment. The grading scale is even different. Like where I am, the regular college grading scale, 80 is considered a B, right? And a 70 is considered a C. Well, my first nursing program, they hold you to higher standards. So an 80 was a C, and that's the bare minimum you can get. If you got lower than that 80, even if it was a 79.9 in the class, as your final grade when you finish the semester, you failed the class. So it was good because it holds you to higher standards as a healthcare professional. But when you go in with certain expectations, thinking that you can thug it out and just, you know, cram it all in, it's not good. So if you don't learn anything from me, learn don't cram and actually read and try to understand the material and whatnot. Take into consideration what your interests are. I know another reason I probably failed was another reason I probably failed. Yeah. The reason I probably failed was because I did not know if I really wanted to do nursing. I started it off thinking that it was no biggie, and as more intense it got, I was like, do I even really want to do this? Like, I'm just doing this to make my family happy. Like, I don't know what I want to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had a strong interest for medicine. I always have. I've been in medicine for animals and humans. So it was like, I know I want to do medicine. I just don't know if nursing is for me. But I kept going through the program thinking that, it'll solve itself. Once I finish, maybe it'll solve itself. Which was not good because I did not care enough to put the effort that I needed to put into my work. You have to get it through your head, and I didn't understand it then, but you have to get it through your head that you have to really work hard. You can play later, but you have to really work hard. Like, the things that I have taken from this experience at this first school and applied to my second school changed me drastically. I mean, drastically. Like, I never failed a class. I always had honor roll, A's and B's in all my classes, except for my last semester. But that, oh, I had 1C. I'm like, listen, I did get the whole program. 1C is fine for me right now because that was the struggle of my life, and that was the class from hell. You have to be really dedicated to your work. You're not going to have life. Accept it. You're not going to really work a lot. You're going to be broke a lot. Accept it. Unless you have like this rich family you can live off of or whatever. But accept the fact that you're not going to have an income for yourself for a while. And that's okay because you're actually studying to be somebody better than where you are. You will get some mean, crappy teachers. You will get some mean, crappy clinical instructors. But in a more aspect of looking at it, it's building your character, and it's going to prepare you for the crappy people that you may have to come into contact with, that you're going to probably have to work around, no matter what their profession is. So it's teaching you how to be professional. Think of it that way. But even coming to class on time, if you're 1 minute late, some people will say you can't even come in. Now that's in regular college classes as well, but in nursing school, you're missing like a whole week's worth of information from that class. So, and that all of that is going to be on the test, whether you're there or not. You have to cover yourself. Even if you're sick, even if you're not feeling good, you have to teach yourself. And that's one thing I didn't do because I was like, I'm paying you to teach me. But in all actuality, you are teaching yourself. Like, you have tons of books. You at least have 14 books. Okay, I used to go to the library, not at this end, put on my earphones and just hone in on to my work. Save money. is a big thing because you're going to need gas money, you might need toll money, um, you might need emergency money, but mainly like for your textbooks and stuff, you have to have your textbooks. And if financial aid doesn't cover everything, you're screwed. You need your textbooks, okay? And uniforms, you have to take into consideration you might have to pay for your uniforms, and they are expensive. At least in my price book, it's expensive. I think it's about, I think in my first school, I for like a shirt in the bottoms only, not the lab coat or anything, just a shirt in the bottom. That was probably like $60. So 30, almost 30 a piece. Then you add on the scrub coat, because you know I had to have the scrub coat. And that's like an extra 25. So, and then the stethoscope, you can get anywhere, but my first stethoscope was off of Amazon, just a cheap stethoscope. But I did end up getting me a Littman as well. And that was like 125. You know, but you're going to have a stethoscope, pen light, scissors, anything that a nurse would carry, you're going to need. So they supply you with some of the stuff, but not everything. I'm just saying save money for the unexpected expenses that you may have to cough up money for. Expect to be a professional, and this is the last one. I've met a lot of nursing students throughout both programs, and professionalism is key. You will, some schools make you line up and inspect you from head to toe. They check your nails, make sure your nails are nice and short and to the meat, and they're clean. Some schools you can't have on Apple Watches. You have to have on the classic regular watch. You can't carry your phone in everywhere. Sometimes you have to leave it in the car. Your clothes cannot be wrinkly, of course. You have to have solid color hair in some schools. You can't wear earrings or necklaces in some schools. Some schools you can. At this first particular school, you know, you could wear earrings, you can wear this, you could wear this. You could wear your hair like this. In my new school, you had to have your hair up in a bun at all times, no matter what. And none of your hair could be touching the back of your neck onto your collar. If you did, you couldn't do clinical that day. But, you know, it just goes to show you the range of expectations just right there. That they're holding you accountable for, and it's not to punish you, it's to prove that you're a professional person and you can handle what they throw at you. It sucks because you just can't be yourself. You have to like blend in for a while, but it's only for like a year or two, depending on what program you're in of your life. It'll go by. Trust me, it'll go by. I'm saying that even after failing a program, it'll go by. But also be professional with your academics. Like, come to school on time. Be before time. If there's anything, I used to arrive 15 minutes before class even started, just so I can set up and prepare myself. But also what I could have worked better on is preparing for the class, taking notes, asking questions, and fully trying to understand. Giving it my 100%. So, yeah, I did fail it. I'm a little story time about it now that we've gotten down, you know, some things that I could have worked on a little better to better prepare for nursing school. I think mentally I just wasn't in the right headspace, and I was refusing to accept that I was going to have to put my personal preferences aside in order to get through nursing school. Because once you're out, you can do pretty much whatever. And I had a really hard time adjusting to self-teaching and learning the textbook all on my own. And not only that, but having to do everything on my own was hard. It was hard. So, yeah. I got to my third semester, and, you know, this was after I failed the first semester. One time I had to repeat a class, did the second semester very smoothly, and in the third semester, that was a tough one. And they told us it was going to be a tough one. And it was. But by the time we got to finals, I had like I think 84 in one class and an 86 in the other. I thought I was straight because I'm like, okay, I can fail these finals and I'll probably still be okay. Took the finals, and by the time I got my grades back, I was at home and I looked on the computer and I saw that I got a 78.8 overall grade in one class and then a 79 point something in the other. Pretty much essentially saying I failed. My grades were really close, which bummed me out. It wouldn't have bummed me out that bad if it dropped it like to a 75 or a 74, but I was like really close to that 80 mark to be considered passing. And I was going to my last semester. I had already talked about graduation. We already had the graduation prep and everything, filled out the forms. So it was like, it hurt. But in a way, I'm happy it didn't happen because at that time I didn't feel ready. I didn't even know medications like that, to be honest with you. Like basic medications I've seen almost every semester. I still couldn't tell you what they were back then. I didn't know how to handle patient communication. I didn't really feel prepared to graduate. A lot of it was on me, but it's also the way, I was taught. I wasn't getting the way they were teaching, and that happens sometimes. You're not going to get the way each professor teaches, especially if they all teach the same way. You're kind of screwed if you don't get it. So, and it didn't really offer tutoring for a nursing program there. So I didn't really have like strong like relationships with the nursing students. They had their own thing. I kind of just felt like a outsider a little bit. But I didn't do study groups because of that. It wasn't a bad experience. It was just, it wasn't for me. Let me put it like that. It wasn't for me. So even though I was bummed out for a while that I didn't pass nursing, it just felt horrible. Like I felt like I wasn't meant to be a nurse. But if I were meant to be a nurse, how come I touch my patients' hearts? How come one patient cried and thanked me for just being kind and listening to her? How come all the nursing students that I did help, they were like, oh my God, you're going to make a great nurse because you know what you're doing. I'm a hands-on person. I can do it hands-on. If you give me a test, I might mess up. It was just things that just made me question, like, how come I'm good at it if I'm not supposed to do it, pretty much. And so I took the summer off because I found out that April, I believe, or March or April, I think, maybe May of 2019. And by then it was getting in my head because I was like, I was supposed to graduate in beginning of 2019, but I failed my first semester, so I couldn't. And then I was supposed to graduate at the end of 2019, but I failed the program, so I couldn't. So I'm already supposed to graduate twice now, right? It was hard, but people were asking me, do you really want to do this? Do you really think this is for you? And I knew it was. Like I could get the material if it's just explained to me differently or something. Something gotta change. So I took that summer off and I researched other nursing programs in my area, came across a couple, did interviews at them to see if I liked them, and I prayed over it a lot. And the one that I ended up picking, so ironic, I ended up picking it, and that'll be a whole nother story. But I did end up going to another program at the end of 2019. I started it. It was a straight through nursing program. It was accelerated, and yes, it's an associate degree one. I got no breaks other than a small Christmas break. Didn't get a summer break. I actually went to school in the summer. But needless to say, with this experience, I don't know if it's because some of the information I learned at the other school is still in my head or what, but I did end up doing very, very great. Very, very great. in this nursing program. My mindset was different. My expectations were already there for a nursing student. I knew they were going to come hard at me. I knew they were going to try to intimidate me, try to shake the rut and see who they can get out in the beginning semesters. Because by the time you get to fourth and fifth, teachers know that you're going to probably pass. So they're like, we don't have to be that harsh on you no more. You already know what you're doing. But needless to say, it was tough, and there were times where it was bittersweet, especially looking on Facebook and seeing people that I once was in class with, once was supposed to graduate with, having their new jobs and graduating and stuff. And I was going through a lot at that time, and just seeing everything happening, it was almost like every which way wanted me to give up, but I didn't. And this time around, I did it so differently. I joined a community. I became president of their Student Nurses Association. I accepted a job at one of the top, if not the highest, top hospital in my state. Obviously, that means that I passed this time, but I passed December. Technically, my last exam was December 17th, 2020, and my graduation date, or my pinning date, I should say, was December 18th, 2020. So you can imagine the pressure taking your final the day before you're supposed to get pinned. We didn't have a pinning because of COVID, but I do have my pen and I have my ropes. And I am currently preparing to take my NCLEX so that I'll be officially licensed as a registered nurse. For anybody out there that is failing or struggling in nursing school, or just want to know what it's like, whatever the case may be, just your interest in this video, period, I just want to tell you that look at me. It took a little longer, a lot longer, from 2017 to pretty much 2021, because I still got to take the NCLEX. But it's doable. You can do it, okay? Don't let one setback stop you if this is really what you want to do, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Like, if this is what you want to do, ignore all the other voices. Just keep your mind focused on what's in front of you. All I thought about this time was graduation. Even though graduation didn't really happen, that's all I thought about. That's all I thought about. I prayed, I listened to my praise music, I read my Bible. There was tough days, but I made friends that supported me, that can relate to me because they're in the same program as I am. It was just 100% better this time, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'll fail the first one all over again just to do this again. It's truly, I can say that. And, I ain't gonna do it no more. I'm done. So, but if you have any other questions about my experience in my first nursing program, you can leave them in the comments below. If you just want to just express like what your experience is in nursing school, leave them in the comments below. You might help out somebody who might read it, come across it. I will be making a part 2. That'll be shorter. It'll be shorter, but this one will be about the things that I carried into my new nursing program that helped me graduate. So if you want to know my little secrets, I wouldn't say they're secrets, but my little ways that I did to get through on the first try, never failing and accelerating in every class, I mean A's and B's, boo boo, then check out my second video, which thank you guys for listening, and I really do hope my video helps. I know it wasn't that jolly, but it was more of like a just calm, serious tone. So yeah, I will see you in part 2 of this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I know it was long, but I felt like it was something that was long overdue. Very long overdue. Yeah. All right. Peace.